Hey, what's going on everybody? My name is Monatui, coach of the Tampa Bay Luxrays, and today I'm bringing you guys our PPL Season 5 Week 4 match versus Baby Eric, coach of the Seattle Onix. If you've not done so already, please check out his YouTube link in the description below. He's a great kid, good guy, good content, and check out his perspective. So, again, this game is like even later than the last game. The last game was like one day late. This game is like almost going up as the same time as week 2, but it's going up on Friday, the Friday before the weekend, as it tends to fall. Anyway, sorry, my brain's a little bit all over the place. Anyway, team breakdown. Eric, as you can see, decided to bring his Ditto, Diancie, Landorus T, Mega Alakazam. Landorus T can be Z-move, by the way, Weavile, and his Tentacruel. On my side of the field, we have physically defensive Rindoberry Swampert with Mirror Coat to catch either Alakazam or to catch possibly a Tentacruel with Giga Drain. We also have special defensive Klefki with Spikes, T-Wave, Metal Sound, and Flash Cannon. That's going to be very useful for his team. Then we have special defensive Mega Venusaur with a Relaxed Nature, just so I can take hits from all sorts of different things. I can take hits from the Landorus other than Fly. I can take one hit from Alakazam if I have to. I can take hits from the Weavile relatively well. And I can take some hits from the Tentacruel, which is very nice. I also have Earthquake on my Venusaur. It's Dual Stab, Earthquake, and Synthesis. Earthquake is very important because in case he decides to switch in his Tentacruel on my Mega Venusaur in order to try and get Liquid Ooze off onto me, I'll be able to hit that thing with an Earthquake and 2 KO it, which is nice. We also have Special Defensive Gliscor, Earthquake, Ice Fang, Taunt, and Roost. That puts in a lot of work versus his team, which is very nice. Then we have Special Defensive Licky. This also has Ice Beam, Toxic, Wish Protect, I believe. Actually, no. Ice Beam, Earthquake, Wish Protect. Hits pretty much the entirety of his team, which is very nice. And then we have a Choice Scarfed Victini. So, without further ado, let us just hop into this game. I'm actually going to lead with my Swampert because I want to be able to get up rocks as early as possible. They really help me out versus things like the Weavile as well as the Landorus, so I can get chip damage off onto that, which is very nice. As you're going to see here, he is actually going to end up leading with his Ditto in order to scout out whatever I wanted to lead with. And because I'm leading with Swampert in order to get up my rocks, he's basically going to be able to do the same exact thing to me and get up his rocks, although if he does so, he's more than likely going to be locked into them because most Ditto are Scarfed. As you're going to see here, he's going to go for his rocks. He does go first, once again leading me to believe that he is Scarfed, unless you want a speed tie, but again, Ditto is usually Scarfed, it makes the most sense. So I'm going to get up my rocks, and then I'm pretty sure he's like forced to switch out, and nothing on his team really wants to take an Earthquake. Like the Landorus can switch in, but it doesn't do much to my my Swampert, and he's actually going to switch in Tentacruel. I'm like, great, I can kill this thing, but he's on an air balloon, so I can't kill this thing, which kind of sucks. So I am forced to then go for the Scald on the following turn because I will then be able to break this thing's balloon. As you're going to see here, he is going to go for a Scald of his own and burn me. However, we are going to fire off our own Scald just to break that balloon so that we can hit him with the Earthquake. I won't be able to knock him out now because of the burn. However, I will be able to burn him on the switch-in, which is nice. I'll be able to whittle him down a little bit and put him close to the range of Earthquake, which is very useful. And judging by that damage, it looks like he's maybe a little bit offensive, but it's kind of hard to tell by the damage calcs. So what I'm going to do here is just go for that Earthquake. And I really thought he would live this Earthquake. Like, I know it's obviously super effective, but I'm burnt and I'm uninvested, so I didn't think this Earthquake would actually end up doing as much as it does. Because again, I'm an uninvested Swampert, and he probably, I think, had no bulk investment on his Tentacruel, like, at all. Because that did a lot of damage, and I didn't want to kill him. I didn't want to put him in range of burn, because then I would have been able to get up my rocks on the following turn. And because he's faster than me, he wouldn't have been able to go for Rapid Spin, and I would have been able to have rocks on his side of the field. But unfortunately, that is not what's going to happen. He's going to send out his Alakazam. I cannot take an Energy Ball from this range, unfortunately, because I'm physically defensive and not specially defensive. So I'm just going to go out into my Klefki, and as you're going to see, he is going to Mega Evolve his Alakazam. You know, cool animation, cool Sun and Moon animation, not that it's that much different from Gen 6, but regardless, he's going to Trace Prankster. That can be kind of annoying if he has something like Taunt, or even like Sub or something along those lines, but regardless, he's going to go for that Energy Ball, he's going to smack us with it, and then we are going to actually, unfortunately, get Spadef dropped, which means that whatever attack he goes for next will be doing a lot of damage to me. I'm going to go for the Spikes. I wasn't sure if he would want to stay in, risking the T-Wave, but clearly he did. And then he's going to go for the Focus Blast, and he's going to end up missing. So kind of justice packs, I guess, but that situation would have been a lot more fair if he just hit the Focus Blast without getting the Split F drop, because like the Split F drop made it so that I could have lost my Klefki, but like him missing the Focus Blast made it so that he didn't do anything to the Klefki, so it kind of just, it sucked for me, and then it sucked more for him, and it definitely sucked more for him. I don't know if I said I had Flash Cannon on my Klefki, but I have Dazzling Gleam as my only attacking move. Sorry if there was any confusion there, but he's in with this Ditto against my Klefki, and this is really annoying because he's basically just using my Pokemon to get hazards up on my side of the field when that was my plan against him. And it's really annoying because like my team doesn't have hazard removal, but his team naturally didn't have too many hazard setters, but it doesn't matter because he's just using my Pokemon, and that's just super annoying. Here I debated going for the rocks, but I figured he would get a switch out into Alakazam, and I wanted to get some damage off onto that so that possibly Klefki can knock it out with Dazzling Gleam a little bit later on. So I'm just going to go right for the Earthquake here. And even though I am burnt, this is still going to do a decent amount of damage. As you can see here, he is going to be brought to about half, which is very nice. He cannot switch into my Swampert again, which is very useful, especially if I'm able to get rocks up later on. But what I'm going to do here is switch out my Swampert. It is still a little bit useful for the Landorus. The only thing he can knock me out with is Z-move, and I'll force him to use it on my Swampert, which is very nice. So I'm just going to go right out into my Klefki as he is just going to fire off the Psychic. And as you're going to see here, this is going to do quite a bit of damage. Unfortunately, I'm not leftovers. I'm actually Rocky Helmet to possibly take a hit from the Weavile and get at least get a little bit of chip damage off onto him. But because he cannot, English, okay, I don't know what I was doing there. My brain's a little bit scrambled, by the way, if you can't tell. But I'm going to go for a Spike here. What was I saying? Something about the not the Weavile. Oh, he didn't want to stay in with Alakazam because I could have gone for the Thunder Wave there. But regardless, I'm going to set up a Spike as he sends in the Landorus. This is scary for me. I know this thing can have access to Z moves. There's no reason for him not to be running Double Dance plus Z Fly because that absolutely destroys the entirety of my roster. Like, he gets up to +2/+2, and then he just wins, basically. He knocks out everything with Z Fly, and then he kind of just sweeps the rest of my team after that. But as you can see here, he actually went for the agility first, or the rock polish first there, so I can hit this thing with an Ice Fang because Z-Fly will not be able to knock me out from full, and we're going to be able to do a little bit more than half. That's kind of nice. And I'm thinking here, okay, he's going to go for the Z-Fly because that's the only way he can knock out my Gliscor, so I'm just going to sack off my Klefki here to the Z-Fly. That way I will be able to go back into my Gliscor, live a +2 regular fly, and then knock him out with the Ice Fang. But unfortunately, I was unaware that Eric was a living god, and he's going to predict that and go for another Swords Dance. And at +4, he kills my Gliscor with regular fly. So, unless something ridiculous happens, we just lose 5-0 because Landorus and whatnot. So he, like, super props to him. Like, he's about to sweep me, and he totally deserved it. Like, he made an absolutely brilliant play that I did not think he would do. I did not think he would be able to predict that. Here, I'm just going to go into Gliscor, and then I'm going to double out into Swampert, just in case he wanted to waste his Z-move, and then maybe I can live the +4 fly on the following turn, even though I can't. But as you can see here, he's actually going to go for the regular fly, and I was like, okay, that makes sense. Regular fly knocked me out, there's no need to use the Z-Crystal, might as well save it for later to be flashy. But again, like, Swampert doesn't live this, Gliscor doesn't live this, but he's... I shouldn't be laughing, but he misses the fly, and he's gonna die to Scald, and this game's gonna continue. So, in case that wasn't obvious, that is huge. Like, that Landorus literally swept through my entire team. I saw it, like, when I was prepping for his team, I was like, okay, this Z Landorus just shits on me entirely. And he saw it, and he brought it, and there's, like, not much I could do about it other than try and not let it set up, but that's kind of hard when I have, like, things like a Klefki that I need to set up hazards with, and, like, switching Alakazam and whatnot. So, yeah, that miss, I cannot describe to you how important that miss was, because he would have won 5-0, and now, even though he's still in this game, his big win condition, the thing that completely dominated my team, is gone, so... there's that. He's now going to send in his Alakazam. Gonna Trace Torrent. Doesn't really matter. I don't think he's running any water moves on his Alakazam. And I'm just gonna let my Swampert go down here to the Psychic. It died to Spikes and Rocks on the way in anyway, so I might as well sack it off here. But what I can do now is just go out into my Victini and knock this thing out with, I believe, either a V-Create or a U-Turn. I forget what I go for here. He does have his Diancie in the back, but I don't want to go for Hidden Power Steel just in case he decides to sack off his Alakazam. As you are going to see, he does end up making that play into his Diancie. And he's going to take the spikes, which is nice, and I am going to end up going for the U-turn. So even though I am getting initiative, he did get some chip damage off of my Victini. I can only switch it in one more time safely, so I have to make sure I preserve it till the right moment. And now what I can do is just go out into my Gliscor. I'm special defensive. I can take whatever this Diancie wants to do. If he is weakness policy, I can take any hit at +2 except for a Hidden Power Ice. So what I'm going to do here is just go for the Earthquake, and as you're going to see here, it is going to hit him, and it actually is going to do a very nice chunk of damage, which is great. And then as you can see, he's just going to go for the Moonblast, which actually is going to do a little bit more than I expected it to do, just because Diancie isn't the strongest thing in the world, and I'm fully special defensive. But it's, you know, it's fair. It's still base 100 special attack. Moonblast is stab and relatively strong. He's going to get the special attack drop, not going to matter in the slightest, obviously. And then he is going to save his Diancie to switch into my Victini, and he is just going to actually go right out into his Ditto. And I was thinking about going for the Ice Fang and looking awesome by going for this play, but I didn't think I needed to. Like, my Gliscor is something I switch into decently on my team because I do have the Licky Licky. Even if he predicts me and like goes for a taunt or something like that, expecting one of my walls to come in, Licky Licky has Oblivious, so it wouldn't matter. So we're going to send in our Licky Licky. I do have the Ice Beam to hit this thing, which is very nice. I am going to take the rocks, I am going to take the spikes, but with Licky Licky's very nice natural bulk, I will be able to take this Ice Fang easily, and we are going to get some of our health back with leftovers, and I'm pretty much going to force him out here, or he's going to lose his Gliscor. As you're going to see here, he actually is going to switch out. He wants to save his Ditto, makes sense, and then he is going to go right out into his Diancie in order to take the Ace Move, but I'm actually going to go for Wish, because I want to be able to go for Wish and then knock something out and then heal myself, which is, I think, a relatively acceptable play. However, what I did not see coming, he hasn't showed an item yet, and I was kind of confused at what it was, and here it is. It's going to be the Chesto Berry, and then this Diancie is going to get back to full health, which kind of sucks, because I was looking forward to, like, spamming V-Create with Victini, but now, because this thing is at full health, I will not be able to do so. I do have Earthquake on this Licky Licky, however, it is not going to be the strongest attack in the world because he does have good natural bulk, and Licky Licky is not invested and doesn't have the best attack stat. So as you're going to see here, we are going to go for the Earthquake. It looks like it might be a 3-hit KO. Emphasis on might, I'm not exactly sure. So basically, I'm kind of not in the best spot, especially he outspeeds me, which kind of sucks, but regardless, as you're going to see here, he is actually going to switch out into his Ditto, which is going to copy my stats, but because I'm specially defensive and I'm going for Earthquake here, this Earthquake will be doing a decent amount of damage because Ditto does not copy my HP stat. Licky Licky has massive HP, Ditto does not have very high HP, so this Earthquake is going to be a very easy 2-hit KO, which is very, very nice. And nothing he can really do bothers me. He can go for a Wish if he wants, but he obviously can't Wish Protect because he's not going to live this Earthquake, so I will be able to knock him out with this Earthquake, and kind of just move on with the game from here. He obviously does have a Wish in the air, and whatever he sends out will be able to get healed, but it's not the worst thing in the world. As you're going to see here, he is going to send out his Lilith. That is going to be his Weavile. He's going to take some hazards damage. He's going to take the spikes, which is very nice, and I was a little bit afraid of this thing going for SD, so I didn't want to like let him SD for free and go for Protect, so I'm just going to click Earthquake here. As you can see here, he goes right for the Icicle Crash, which is going to do a crap ton to my Licky Licky. I did not expect it to do that much to Licky Licky, even though I'm special defensive, but Weavile is very naturally strong. And this Earthquake is going to do a decent amount of damage, but because he does have the Wish in the air, he is going to get that back. So maybe I should have gone for Protect there, but again, I was kind of fearing the Swords Dance, and I didn't want him to get to complete max HP. Regardless, after I Protect, I will be able to live a knockoff from this thing. If he has Low Kick, he'll be able to knock me out with that. I don't think he has it, though. But as you can see there, he does go for the knockoff. I am going to get a little bit of leftovers back. And I'm going to stall him out a little bit, just because with the leftovers, I can live the knockoff, like I said. So as you can see, he's going to go for the knockoff here. It's going to hurt, but we are able to live on a little bit of HP. And my goal here is, I'm going to be playing with flinches in a bit, but my goal here is because he probably doesn't have Swords Dance or else he would have gone for it by now. I'm just going to Wish Protect until I either die or I get lucky enough to not get flinched and he either misses an Icicle Crash or he kills himself with Life Orb Recoil. So I'm going to Wish Protect there. The next Icicle Crash I think has a chance to kill me, but he also obviously has a chance to miss, though he also has that chance to flinch. Regardless, he's going to go for that Icicle Crash. It's going to connect. It's going to do about 50% to me. He's going to take some Life Orb, and we're actually going to flinch on the first one, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it's not the worst thing in the world. That obviously does have that 30% chance to happen, and it was going to happen eventually anyway. Was hoping it wouldn't happen on the first turn and I could rack up a little bit of Life Orb damage off onto him, but regardless, it ends up happening there, and there isn't really much else we can do about it. Now, however, what I am going to do is go out into my Victini, and because I know he is going to keep his Weavile around, and he just healed up his Diancie, I'm pretty sure he is going to go right out into that in order to soak up the V-Create or the U-Turn, or really anything that I want to go for. However, I am going to pull out the Hidden Power Steal, and we are going to be able to 2 KO this Diancie from where he is at. So as you can see here, Hidden Power is going to go out. That's really nice, and we are easily going to be able to KO him. No Babiri Berry, because we saw the Chesto Berry earlier, and we will just be able to knock him out with the Hidden Power Steal. He also can't switch into anything on my Hidden Power Steal. Weavile will be 2 KO'd, as will Alakazam at this point, so Victini is going to be able to pick up that kill. He is then going to send in his Weavile, which can actually live the Hidden Power Steal just because I'm relatively uninvested in special attack, and Weavile has decent natural Spadef. So, as you can see here, Hidden Power Steal, gonna go off, and it is just not going to be enough. He is going to live, however he is very close to Life Orb, so I'm thinking maybe he might go down to Life Orb and then I won't have to go into anything else on this thing. He knocks out the Victini, and as you're going to see, knocks off the Choice Scarf obviously, and then he actually lives on a very small sliver of health, but that is okay, because we have our Mega Venusaur on the field, and we can just go for a Synthesis on whatever he wants to do. Obviously, he can flinch me with Icicle Crash, and actually, if he does flinch me with Icicle Crash, there's a very good chance we lose this game, because then my Venusaur won't be healthy in order to knock out the Alakazam, because at full health, my Alakazam can take any hit from the Alakazam, whether it's a Psychic or if it's a Psyshock. He's gonna miss here. I'm not exactly... I don't think that mattered, because it wouldn't have done... Like, he would have died to Life Orb. Again, it only mattered if he would have flinched me. Regardless, if he flinches me on the last turn, or if he flinches me on this turn, he should have a very good chance to win the game, so the miss didn't matter. It all comes down to this being able to flinch me. As you can see here, he's going to do about 50% to me. He is going to die to Life Orb. He is going to go down on this turn, and then we are going to go for the Synthesis, getting ourselves back up to max amount of HP. Keep in mind, had he hit me with the first one, we would have been at about 75-76% of our health. And as you're going to see here, this Alakazam is actually not going to be able to do that much damage to me because of the fact that I'm nearly max Spadef. So he's going to send in his Alakazam. He is going to go right for that Psychic. And as you are going to see, we're actually going to live that somewhat comfortably. Again, we would have been able to live even if we were at 76%. And then we are going to go for the Earthquake, knock out the Alakazam, and end this game in a 2-0 victory for me. That is in absolutely no way deserved. Eric played this game extremely well. His Lander set was perfect, and he would have been able to sweep me had he hit that Fly. As it turned out, and I forget if I mentioned this earlier, he didn't have the Z Crystal on his Landers. He forgot, and I completely forgot to look at it to see if it had an item earlier on, because I usually expect things to have items, but he didn't have an item, so had I known that, I would have just stayed in with my Glyphscore once he got to +2, because +2 Fly cannot knock me out. Regardless, I have to wrap up this video. Thank you guys very much for watching. Once again, check out Eric in the description below. Next week, we're going up against Polymac and the Thunderbolt and Wanderer? No, he has a new team. His new team, I forget, but it will be mentioned later on. So thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you next game.